Tight end, top five.
Wild top five this week, just wild. I have Travis Kelce, TJ Hawkinson again. Mark Andrews is number 3. Then I have David Njoku and Evan Ingram as my 4 and 5 to close it out.
Spicy. Yeah, I have Kelsey, Hawkinson, Andrews, Schultz, and Kittle. So not as crazy, kind of same. I mean, Debo's out, so Kittle does get a little bit of bump, even though the Niners passing game is in shambles. And then Freiermuth, I know he's a little banged up, so he would probably get up in there to number 5 at least. But yeah, he's banged up, so we'll have to see about that. But I do like Schultz. I mean, that Jaguar, talked about that on Convincingly, Austin Hooper. The Jaguars gave up a ton of yards to Hooper, and they also gave up the touchdown to Chico Conquo. So that defense, they just haven't been able to really contain tight ends. They are now dead last in DVOA against tight ends after 14 weeks. So I think I'm gonna keep Schultz up in my top 5. All right, who are you high on?
I'm high on Evan Ingram. He's my tight end 5, and I've been waiting for this breakout. And boy did it come. 11 catches, 162 yards, 2 touchdowns against the Titans. He had a nice stretch weeks 5 through 8. He was the tight end 6, and I was saying, he's a good streaming option, whatever. And then he fell off, a cliff. I think, he's struggled with consistency. That could have been more of a Trevor Lawrence thing, if anything. So with Trevor Lawrence, in the middle of a breakout, I think that just elevates Ingram, obviously. But, he's run over an 80% routes run rate in 4 straight games. And, his target share obviously went up after last game. But I think we can safely project him around 4.5 to 5 catches this week and going forward. So just given the tight end landscape, outside of the top 3, it's kind of a crapshoot. That's what makes Evan Ingram a top 5 option. And just real quick, David Njoku, he's inside my top 5 as well, just because he cleared a 90% routes run rate. And with Deshaun Watson under center, that's going to help unlock his ceiling. Plus, Amari Cooper's a little banged up. So if he's limited again this week, that's only going to benefit Njoku. So he just sneaks in my top 5 just based on his underlying usage and the routes run rate. Again, over 90% last week.
Yeah, no, I like Njoku. He looks really good. Coming back.
He always looks really good when he gets playing time.
That is. I'm high on Taysom Hill. Which is so risky, but again, this tight end landscape after these top 7 or 8 guys. I have Taysom Hill as my tight end 9, and he is tight end 14 consensus. Kind of mentioned it, but Ingram's out, so I think he's going to be involved in the run game. Get at least 5 to 6 carries, and then the Falcons are giving up the most schedule adjusted targets per game to tight ends at 8.3. So I think, even if Juwan Johnson comes back, I still think Hill is a good bet to get, maybe a catch or 2 here. And he did get loose for a touchdown, I believe, in the last game. So yeah, just a lot of ways for him to score. And I do think coming out of the bye, they should have a nice little package for him. So like Taysom as a top 10 tight end this week.
Yep, love it. He's my tight end 6.
Oh, okay.
How could you not have him near your top 5?
I mean,
at this point,
5 is I still got Kittle there.
Fair enough. Not going to argue with that.
You low on?
So I'm low on Dawson Knox. He's my tight end 15, and he's always a fringe tight end 1, tight end 2 option, and he's coming off a really good game usage wise. He had a 94% routes run rate, but he only went 4 catches for 41 yards and a touchdown. Unfortunately, that's sort of a ceiling game for him. So again, with the snow game coming up this week, just want to lower expectations. So if you're planning on using Knox this week, I would look elsewhere. And the Bills team total is only 25, which is low for them. So a tight end like Knox that kind of leans on his touchdown upside, that could be lowered a bit this week. Again, with the lower scoring environment. So he's outside of my top 12 this week. And I would look to stream somebody else if you're leaning on him.
Yeah, he's been, it's been pretty inconsistent this year. Him and Gabe Davis have really kind of gotten hurt by the Bills. Maybe like you said, maybe it's the injury. Maybe it's just, Josh Allen is also just getting very sloppy at times, especially in the red zone. And I just wonder if they're running a little more to kind of curtail some of that. I mean, it all could also be related to the injury, but either way, yeah, the consistency just hasn't been there, even though he did get that flipping touchdown into the end zone. Pretty cool last week.
Yeah.
I'm low on Gerald Everett this week. I have him as a tight end 13. He is the tight end 9 consensus.
Wow.
So I have him more of as a fringe tight end one, and it's it's not really like the matchup is fine, maybe even a positive matchup, but we have to remember that for the first time pretty much all season, Justin Herbert is going to have a healthy Keenan, Williams, Palmer, and Eckler still there. So Everett now is pretty much the 4th or 5th target in that offense, whereas most of the year he's been 2, 3. I think Mike Williams's route participation rate will go up. It was 73% in his first game back. He's usually around 80 to 90%. So, he's going to command a high target share. Keenan Allen's running around about 90-95% of the time. He's going to command a high target share. And then Eckler, obviously, we know is going to command a high target share. So you're really kind of fighting for scraps with Joshua Palmer here, who, is playing even more than Everett. Everett's running around about 62% of the time. And Palmer was at 80% last game. And, even if Williams bumps up, I think Palmer can still stay in that 80% range. So, Everett may very well just be that number 5 option for the Chargers. So, again, it still hit, but it's kind of a fringe start for me. I think the floor is low. I would like to get, an Evan Ingram, a Dulcich, a Njoku, somebody like that over Gerald Everett this week.
Yeah, no, I like that call. And the reason he was a top 10, even top 5 tight end at times this year was because Keenan Allen and Mike Williams were out.
Yeah.
And also just to make matters worse, Donald Parham could return this week. And they love getting him involved in the red zone. So even he could kind of eat into potential end zone targets for Everett as well. So yeah, he's tight end 12 for me, but certainly his floor is much, much lower now.
Yeah. All right, let's see. Tight end prop. Let's go with our boy, Chigo Okonkwo.
Nice.
I think a lot of people are, probably the first round of the playoffs for a lot of people. Okonkwo's coming on strong. His route participation rate's been around 55% the last 2 games, which is up from, pretty much double what his season average is almost. So I'm going to set his line against the Chargers 28.5.
Oh, man. That is a good line. I'll go with his over though.
Okay.
He probably has a wide range of outcomes still. And I kind of mentioned that in our waivers piece is he's actually established a pretty good floor. If he can just run between 50 and 60% of routes run, he's commanding a big enough target share. I mean, considering the tight end position right now, to have low end tight end 1 value, the only thing we're not sure of is his ceiling. So that's a player I definitely want to invest in. I think his playing time will only go up going forward. So give me the over.
Yeah. I think that's a good call. He, obviously a volatile guy. Titans, you never kind of know what they're gonna do passing wise. They could run it 50 times, but
well, they've been trying, and they've lost 3 games in a row. So, and that's not Okonkwo's fault. Just with the wide receivers decimated, I think that makes sense for them to use him even more, in my opinion. So, yeah. Where do you have him ranked, by the way?
17.
Same.
Yeah. So
but I would start him over a few of the guys over him, like Conklin, Higbee. I would start him over those guys.
Then you gotta rank them higher,
right? Well, I mean, I'm trying to project median because then people will use this in our player prop tool. There's a lot of different things going on with these projections.
Yeah. I mean, I'm pretty much, I'm gonna I kind of would start guys as I have them ranked though. Like I'll mess with those projections, but yeah, I agree. I think he's like consensus is tight end 13. I think that's a little like consensus has him above Conklin. Like he just like tight end is all about routes. And that's the one thing with him is, I mean, at least Taysom's getting some rush attempts. Conklin, Higbee, Henry, those guys, they get more routes. So I think 17 is probably the right ranking for him.
Yeah.
But his ceiling is very, very high just because he's so explosive.